Yeah, the UFC probably won't be on ESPN anymore. And I'm gonna say that, and some people are gonna be like, oh, what happened? No. So, about I would probably say 8, 10 years ago, the UFC signed a deal with ESPN when they were at their all-time peak. To give you an idea of how crazy stars were aligning back then, this was during the rise of Conor McGregor for men's MMA and Ronda Rousey for women's MMA. There was a bunch of stuff that had to be done, they made the UFC sign this deal that they had to have official uniforms. That's what the whole Reebok thing was. Yes, ESPN is the reason why all these UFC fighters lost out on a sponsorship. And the numbers are still pretty iffy, but it's rumored that it was around $700 million for this deal. That's actually kind of insane. $700 million for exclusivity rights to ESPN Plus for the UFC. You see, that sounds absurd now, but back in the day, we didn't know how long the Conor McGregor thing was going to last. And now we're near the tail end of that contract, okay? And right now, you have all these other Amazon, YouTube, Netflix, and I'm guessing ESPN again are throwing out new numbers to get exclusivity for the UFC. Other creators have said it's somewhere in the ballpark of $1 billion, and I do believe it, bare minimum. The UFC has tripled or quadrupled in net worth since then. And let me just say this right now, I would be perfectly okay if they didn't sign with ESPN again. You want to know why? ESPN literally does nothing. They do nothing for them. What does the UFC gain from ESPN that they couldn't get from, Amazon or Netflix? The prestige of calling themselves a sport? Really? That's it now? I wouldn't be surprised if the UFC launches their own version of a streaming platform called TKO, because they also became the same company as WWE under the same parent company. And WWE is on Netflix now. I wouldn't be surprised if they have something that for exclusivity on Netflix. Maybe Netflix will get Dana White's Contender Series. I don't know. I think UFC is going to change a lot within the next year. I think there's going to be a lot of big changes with how we see the sport, because ESPN really doesn't bring much to the table anymore.